By now, your eyes are drawn to the chart off to my right. And in particular, if you follow the squiggly lines, you're going to see an increase in lean body mass, or muscle mass, I should say, which is actually really cool. And at the same time, too, correlating with that, a decrease in body fat percentage. So you really have the best of both worlds. A lot of things may claim weight loss. Well, weight loss is a very subjective term. Arm, leg, body fat, muscle, what is it? You see that in prescription drug commercials all the time. They're not particular. If it says body fat decrease and lean muscle mass increase, wow, now we're golden. Now, as you're looking at this chart, a couple of particulars which are real important as well, and which are, I should say, additional biological challenges. The study was conducted in 78 females, again, randomized, double-blind, controlled, placebo-controlled study, and the ages were between 66 and 84. So what's even more peculiar, or I should say more challenging, is it didn't request any dietary changes or activity changes. So now, as you begin to look at this chart again, and you see that increase in lean mass with no additional activity changes, now it becomes quite intriguing. And so what it is, which caught my attention. Now, it has to deal primarily with a chemical that's fairly unique to green propolis, and that's the adipocytes-C, which has a very positive effect on white fat to brown fat, as well as basically brown fat itself. And on top of that, skeletal muscle mass, which we're going to get into right now. So look at this, pretty cool, especially for the group which is basically often metabolically challenged, and one of the hardest groups in regard to helping find solutions for those metabolically challenged. 12 weeks, it ended up being, what, 6 capsules a day of a small amount, the Brazilian green propolis, and boom, look at that, incredible. So let us proceed. Brazilian propolis intake decreases body fat mass and oxidative stress in community-dwelling elderly females, a randomized placebo-controlled trial. The study aimed to investigate the effects of Brazilian propolis on body fat mass and levels of adiponectin and reactive oxygen species, which you'll often see referred to as ROS, just as a heads up, among community-dwelling elderly females. This was a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trial. Before I go any further, people are going to think, oh, this must be an industry-funded study. No. As we go to the end of the study, I'll highlight for you the authors had no COIs. For those not familiar, it's called conflict of interest, which can, those not familiar as well, can lead to biases in regard to the outcomes, which means it can mess with the study, make it not as accurate as it should be. So none of those are there. And females 66 to 84 years of age. Meaning propolis, group was given 3 capsules, 227 milligrams of propolis twice a day. Again, to reiterate, Brazilian green propolis because the adipocytes-C. Propolis supplementation caused the absolute and relative fat mass to decrease among elderly females. The DEXA method, which is the gold standard for body composition measurements, was used to assess fat mass, and the results of the study were highly reliable. Propolis has been shown to reduce fat mass in obese animal models. The mechanism was correlated with the fact that propolis induces the activation of peroxisome proliferator-activated receptor Y, just in case you need to know, PPRY, which caused the browning of white adipocytes, adipocytes-C, an ingredient derived, this is the important part, from propolis can induce brown-like adipocytes formation. Pretty cool. Which increases energy expenditure and promotes fat loss. So again, with the outcome in this small group, to create to encourage brown-like adipocyte formation, you could see the horizon that opens up for this particular substance. Moreover, decreased fat mass may be associated with the positive effects of propolis on AMP, adenosine monophosphate, activated protein kinase. Sorry, not adenosine monophosphate, activated protein. I'm so used to seeing AMP and seeing adenosine monophosphate. It is activated protein kinase. A little publisher bias there. In the skeletal muscle, AMPK is a key factor for metabolic activity, including lipid metabolism. Therefore, propolis supplementation may increase skeletal muscle lipid metabolism via To reiterate, the activated protein kinase, AMPK activation, which might also promote fat loss. Taken together, a lower fat mass, as observed in the study, may be accounted for by a highly lipolytic capacity of adipocytes and skeletal muscle. In addition, another possible explanation for reduced fat mass may be attributed to the positive effect on propolis on skeletal muscle mass. That is really cool, resulting in increased energy expenditure due to the basal metabolic rate. A previous study that has reported on propolis indicated that propolis has a protective effect on aged skeletal muscle via various biological activities such as anti-inflammatory and antioxidative actions. Indeed, among the elderly females in the study, lean body mass tended to increase following supplementation with propolis, which is great. The p-value for the statisticians there was like 0.005, I think like 8. So they considered statistically significant. For those particular, it may be on the borderline there. But now we'll get into the methods. This was a randomized, double-blind, and placebo-controlled trial. The propolis group were given 3 soft capsules containing 227 milligrams of 3 capsules of propolis twice per day. I know I'm reiterating. After breakfast and dinner, total intake 450 milligrams, 6 capsules a day for 12 weeks. Meanwhile, the placebo group, PLA, were given placebo capsules of the same dosage and frequency for 12 weeks. Their participants were instructed to take the capsules with water or tea. Furthermore, I want to really emphasize this, furthermore, all participants were required to not alter their lifestyle habits such as diet and exercise during the study period, which is why that chart that we showed at the beginning was so incredibly amazing. To proceed, to assess compliance, the participants were instructed to record changes in the lifestyle and health status and daily capsule intake. Now to the conclusion. As medical care costs continually rise with the increase in the elderly population, elderly individuals must manage their own health. Fat accumulation can be prevented or decreased to a certain degree via self-management. To reduce body fat mass, regular exercise and dietary restrictions are required. However, the lifestyle habits of elderly individuals are difficult to modify. In association with this, the intake of functional foods, including propolis, can be considered without making any major alterations to lifestyle habits and can be practical and sustainable method. So you see what we're coming at here? And I want to show you that chart one more time because now it begins to make a lot more sense. So adipocyte C is one of the primary ingredients in the Brazilian green propolis, which helps again with, as we discussed, the brown fat adipocyte like formation. I want to basically make sure I use the exact words that they used, and therefore may help with that increase in the metabolism and energy expenditure. So it has to possibly work again with adipocyte C. I would like to say causative, but I saw the word correlation there. And then 2, the increase in skeletal muscle mass. Limitation on skeletal muscle mass. The participants did not have greater grip strength at the end of the study, but however though, you have to keep in mind, they're also not changing their activity levels or do have any sort of exercise regime or regimen. So you have that increasingly muscle mass. There's no necessarily reason to have increased grip strength, even though it'd be nice, but still just the same. It all helps benefit the individual in the end. Again, wonderful, wonderful research. Definitely caught my attention. Brazilian green propolis was used in the study. No conflict of interest or industry-related funding, particularly manufacturer per se, but still just the same. Pretty phenomenal. Gratitude as always. I'll humble you watch and look forward to see you all once again next week. Catch you next time. Bye.